There's a challenge for me to explain to my mom what I'm doing for a living. If Agile is a hot pot, most of these days we found a blueprinted Agile, right? Like almost like a Bible of Agile that you just follow, right? To me, Flywo is like a hot pot cookbook, right? We didn't have any ingredient. We don't even have like a pot for you. It's a cookbook.
Welcome to Flight Club, a podcast where we want to dive into specific aspects of flight levels, share experiences, and introduce you to the flight levels experts on a more personal level.
Hello and welcome to Flight Club, a show where you get to know people and topics around flight levels. My name is Klaus Leopold. I'm here in Bangkok today, and my guest is Kulawat Wongsaroj.
Nice to be here.
Thank you. Am I actually explaining or pronouncing your last name correct?
Very, very good.
Perfect. Thank you, Kulawat, for joining us here. We know each other for quite a long time, actually. We know each other for, 11, 12 years, something like this.
Something like that.
Yeah. It's always great to be here in Thailand to get in contact with you. So I have the privilege that I know you for 11 or 12 years, but maybe not everybody else knows you for 11 or 12 years, for our listeners, I mean. So if you describe what you do for a living, what would this be?
That's a challenging one. Even now, there's a challenge for me to explain to my mom what I'm doing for a living. In Agile community, I'm Agile coach, right, and also a flight level guide. At the beginning, before I know Klaus, we are in the Scrum Agile world, if you may. But then I met Klaus. You introduced Kanban to Thailand, right? And we've been organize your class, and I learned a bit more about Kanban, and I see the evolution that it evolved into, like flight levels today. But I've been I have my own company, Leading Consulting, with my partner, and we've been practicing. And one thing that I think we have in common is that we don't stick to like one school or one camp, right? We try to do what's best, right? And what we've been practicing that we use to help our customer seem to be somewhat like flight level, even before we call it flight level, right? And then we get together and talk about it, and should I say? You introduce us this idea of what flight level is, and it's click because you say it's not a framework, it's a thinking model. It's not like you pushing something and you enforce it. This is true work. This is your best practice. A lot of time when I introduce myself when I teach a class, right, and people often come here to the class and expect a best practice.
Yeah.
And I kind of say it out loud. We believe that Agile has no best practice, but it's your job to discover what is best for you, and we are here to help.
Okay, so you are, what you do for a living is help organizations, and somehow, flight levels is one of your tools. But I think you weren't born as a flight levels guy, were you? So how did it come to this point? Not how did it come? What have you learned actually? What is your background?
Oh, learn as a school, right?
Yeah.
Well, interesting. I went to an engineering school. My degree was electrical engineering.
Oh.
But I already forgot what it was. but our way, fascinating, like programming, software development. Right? My first career is actually a technical support in software company, right? And then I got my master degree in computer science, and I become a software developer. And then become involved in this, like how to develop good software, in very kind of roles: the programmer, the project manager, the analyst, the support guy. So I kind of like touching various points that you develop a software, and to a certain point that I was not sure is this a good career because it seemed to be so much pain.
Okay.
Like, right? in a way you're enjoying it, that you kind of play God, that you create your own world, the software, right? But then when you deliver this to a customer, it doesn't seem too happy. What they're always like, oh, what about this, what about that? And the bigger the project, the more pain you seem to suffer. And then I stumble upon Agile, and it seemed to give me some hope. And I it kind of stuck with me since then. Oh, this thinking, this concept seemed to be able to help, and it helped me, and I think it can help others. And so since then I'm start practicing Agile, do it in my own company, and after that we think we can help others as well. So we start our own practice, like our own company, right? And also we set up a community in Thailand called Agile 66 to gather people that are interested in Agile to get together and talk about it. And we've been doing that like about the same time that I know you, actually, like 11, 12 years.
Yeah, cool. So you're a man from practice, actually. So it's not just like that you're teaching something that you have never experienced in real life. You experience these kind of things, and I think I can see it when I hear you talk about flight levels and about Agile and all these things. It's like, okay, there's always this pragmatic and practical touch. So it's not just like talking about some theory and this might somehow. There is some meat on the bone. And I think this is one thing. So I've taught flight level 3 design and flight level systems architecture here, and the days before you were teaching flight level 2 design.
Yes.
And you were showing me a canvas. You were like, Klaus, I came up with together with Come On, actually, we came up with an idea about this canvas for flight level 2 design. So I would really like to talk a little bit about this, but I think the bridge I want to make is, so this canvas is a tool that, as far as I understand it, that you can give people, it's a practical tool, actually. So it's born out of practice. So, but what is this canvas about, actually?
Okay, before I get to that, let me tell you some little story. In the class that you mentioned, right? When you were teaching FL3D, and I was like helping in the class, and there was one student who came to the class. She took my FL2D before a private one, right? And then, hey, Ajahn Pom, she called me my by nickname, right? Hey, we have a board, five level board in our office. I made it, but nobody using it with me. But I'm still using it. Yeah, he just wanted to tell me that she's still using it, right? And as a joke, he was just like telling me as a joke. But it's got me thinking that it's good that you're using it, but the purpose is to involve others, and I can feel that she's struggling to find others to coordinate with her, and that's a challenge of flight level, because it's, even though you have your own area of influence, like you are Scrum Master, you have team lead, but to make the end-to-end coordination, you need to connect all the other stakeholders to come and cooperate with you, and that's always a challenge, right? And flight level itself, it's simple, but it's not easy, right? like everything else, it looks simple, but it's not easy. Even to explain flight level to other people about what it is, there was one discussion that we had, right? There was a meetup the other day, and we were talking back, and you were mentioned about, to you, flight level is like kind of like a recipe book. It's got me thinking that I think if someone asks me what flight level is, if Agile is a hot pot, you know what hot pot is?
Yes.
Right? In Thailand, there's many kinds of hot pot. It's very popular here. If Agile is a hot pot, most of these days we found a blueprinted Agile, right? Like almost like a Bible of Agile that you just follow, right? That's, to me, it's like a cooked hot pot. They already cook it for you. Your job is just to eat it, right? No question asked. You don't have to think anything. Just eat it and it's done, right?
Very convenient.
Very convenient, and it's also expensive as well. There's like big world-class hot pot that given to you, right? And but then if you go back, the intention of all those nice people that come up with agile framework, like even Scrum, Kanban, Safe, Lace, Nexus, a bunch of this Scrum at scale, right? To me, I think all this framework is kind of like, it's if you go to a hot pot restaurant, there's many brands, right? They have their own kind of menu and flavor, but you still have to cook it yourself.
Yeah.
Right? They prepare this for you in what this is. They think this is the best, kind of like a template, or some set, or this set A, set B, set C. You pick, you choose, and you kind of cook it yourself, and to make it to your own liking. Right? You can adjust to fit you. But flight level is not like that. To me, flight level is like a hot pot cookbook. Right? We didn't have any ingredient. We don't even have like a pot for you. It's a cookbook, right? And you come to learn about this cookbook, and then you find yourself the recipe. You find yourself the ingredients. You find yourself all this utensil, not utensil, the cooking, the cooking tools that fit for you, and then you make your own hot pot.
Yeah,
that's kind of like what flight level is to me.
And it builds upon your own taste, actually. So it's not just like, okay, this is what you need to eat when you eat hot pot. It's more like, okay, what's my taste, right? I like this analogy.
The challenge is normally, because it's hot pot is like a family style kind of food, right? You don't eat alone. You need to bring other people to eat it for you, eat it with you, right? Not build build a hot pot for them. Right? Bring them to cook it together.
Nice one.
Right? Right. So if you study flight level, there's this 3 levels, right? Strategy, coordination, operation, and there's 5 steps, right? And we evolved this concept a little bit in our class, and we like come up with we reorder it a little bit. To the main purpose is to teach the people in the class, right? But then we learn something from it. Usually FL2D, the flight level 2, it's like 2 days, right?
No.
There was one engagement that they told us, we have like 1 day Agile foundation, play games, mindset, nice and everything, right? And we even play Twig to see some Kanban, some move, some flow, right?
Yeah.
But then they have, we have half a day. Just need to workshop to launch it in half a day. So we're thinking, we know that they need some sort of, kind of flight level 2 coordination. It was a IT operation team, kind of like DevOps team, that need to coordinate with the development and also infrastructure and different silos inside. Right? So how do we do flight level 2 in half a day? So we come up with this, we call 7 steps to start flight level. The first step of 7 steps is step 0.
Okay. So it's 8 steps.
7 plus 0. So we ask them to like the first opening question, like a check-in, is what is your pain point?
Always good.
And everybody have in pain in some way, right?
Yeah.
Well, they want to solve something. They're struggling in some way, right? So they all list their own pain point and post it, and we cluster it, right? So that we can see the group. But the trick is then the next question, I think, is very, very key. We ask, how do you link this pain point to your current workflow? So I always find it's a challenge to ask them to think in flow, because most of the people they kind of stuck in even team thinking, or they focus on their own work. It's hard for a lot of people to see how works flow because they focus on their own work. Right. So, but when we use the word workflow, I think it's kind of a bit easy to resonate because it's a normal business kind of work. But workflow is easy for them to grasp. And then they start to, I think this pain point that I have like work-life balance or too much overload because I work on this flow that like supporting flow, the ticketing coming in, and people start to link their life to the work, the pain point to the workflow. And then now we have in the class we donate the case, right? This is like, where are your workflow, you sit on that table that you want to solve, right? So now we separate the people into this the workflow that they want to work on, the one that they in pain, right? So that take, I don't know, 15 minutes something, but that's the first opening line. Which pain you want to fix. And then it's come to the 7 steps that I talk about. The first step is called improvement goal. This is also the thing that we think it make different, because usually a company have business goal, right? They want to meet some KPI, the revenue, the target. This is all normal thing, right? But most of the time when we do like this process improvement, agile, flight level, we are pretty far away from the business goal. Unless you're on level 3, right? But most of the time, when we start, let's say, flight level 2, the operation people that coordinate is a bit far away that they can understand, or even it's take time to make the impact on that goal. But there's always a reason that you do some change, right? There was a pain, right? You want to improve something, so we want to make them explicit. What is the thing that you want to improve?
So what you want to improve, and how do you measure it?
Yes, that's actually the second step.
This is something like the activity number 4, measure progress, right?
Yes.
So you're tying this in.
Yes.
And I think this makes totally sense, because I don't know, we always have this saying, like, doing flight levels for the sake of doing flight levels is quite unsexy, right? So hopefully you want to achieve something with it. So this is also part of your process, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Well, if you know all the flight level, definitely the whys in flight level 3, right? That's the strategy, why you're doing the business, why you're doing things. But a lot of time people are a bit distant from that world. So we kind of bring the flight level 3 to the kind of 3 and 2 together, just this piece. But this is on scoping on the kind of process improvement. The improvement goal can be a business goal, but usually not the case. But let's say the pain point is I have work overload, right? I cannot take this anymore. So the improvement goal could be like, I want to have work-life balance. I want to reduce the workload in my team. It could be something simple like that. It could be like reduce the lead time of the ticket support that I have, something like that. So not doing fly level for the sake of doing it, but there's a purpose.
And I think that's why we have. So when we talk about measurements in flight levels land, we actually talk about these kind of measurements, right? Measure progress towards the goal that you want to achieve. Flight level 3 is a little bit different. I mean, we are measuring the business progress there, but also I think on flight level 3 actually, you don't build the flight level 3 because you don't know what to do, right? So hopefully even this is somehow laser targeted, but it's closer to the business. But I totally agree. If I want to, I don't know, increase the number of customers, I'm not sure if a flight level 2 system can help with this, right? You need to invest in, I don't know, customer engagements, in marketing, in something totally out of scope of flight levels. But goal directed targeting kind of.
Yes, it's funny to me that if you've been study agile, practicing agile, you always talk about this goal, but a lot of time you kind of fall into the process trap. You're just doing Scrum, you're just doing Kanban, you just do because you just came to the class, right? And it looked nice. I want to have this board, and just go build it, but then. Why? Or maybe
the other company over there is also doing it. So, but that's not a good reason, right? I mean, it is a reason, but it's not a good reason.
And also sometimes let's take to the next step. There's a few more in there. Like you already mentioned the measurement. Right? The second step we actually name it a little bit slightly different. We call progressive measurement.
Okay.
Just to make it look cool.
Yeah, it sounds cool.
It's a measurement, but we intentionally put the word progressive, and I look up in the dictionary. Progressive can mean movable, like you
like
do,
it.
right?
Yeah.
And also mean modern. Just want to make,
Oh yeah.
want to make it progressive in the way, like exactly like you said that you have your improvement goal, but how do you know where you are?
Yeah.
Right. This is like the first two things that you have to have very clear on why you're doing this.
Yeah.
And you, as when you do it in class or you do try to think of this, you might not have a crystal clear picture, but it's okay. It's a incremental process.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you have this goal and how you measure the goal. But then I think this is the secret sauce. The number 3. Uh, we have many names on it, but I think the latest name that we call it stakeholders.
Okay.
You know, you mentioned this a little bit in your class that we need like sponsors, right? And that's one of the stakeholders.
Yeah.
And I mentioned earlier that you cannot do it alone. But so who do you need to build the bot with, right? We often say fly level is not building it for them, but building it with them. So we want to be explicit who they are, right? So it's kind of like enlist, like who do you think involved is the stakeholder that you need to build this together. So list them explicitly.
Yeah.
And this is when we didn't think about it at first how impactful this gonna be. To me, it's just like, oh, just make it explicit, list them all. But then it got them thinking that what's in it for them.
Yeah.
Do they want this goal that you want?
Yeah.
Let's say that there was the guy in this half a day workshop that I mentioned, right? They want the goal that they set up is improve their workload, reduce the workload basically to have work-life balance. But then they list like marketing is the stakeholder, the one that feed them the requirement, right? And then we ask, are these people want that goal, right? And they got them thinking, oh, no, they didn't really care, right? But they need the marketing people to get involved, to coordinate. Otherwise, they would not make it a success anyway, right?
Yeah.
So they revise their goal to be a better quality product.
Yeah.
Like they would like to have a good product as well, and the marketing people would need that. So they find the common goal, and they go back to adjust the step number 1, and also adjust step the progressive measurement. So the adjustment is kind of like the loop of adjusting already happened, even though the first 3 steps.
Yeah.
And we think that it's kind of when it's good when we make the stakeholder piece explicit, that make them think from the beginning that who should they get involved, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. So I mean, when we teach flight level, the flight levels coach program, there's a lot about stakeholder management and stuff, and we have these tools like stakeholder mapping and all these kind of things. But here it's like compressed in one. No, but like in one canvas, right?
Yes.
So it's an overview. It's just like a part in the journey, and everything is like compact there, and that's what I really like about it. Yeah.
Yes.
So we know these tools, but I think the point is that it's packaged in a way
I like
that
you
it's
put it that way.
very very easy consumable for practitioners actually. Yeah.
So now we have
4-ish, 5. Where are we?
improve besides step 0, which is the pain point and workflow, right? We have improvement goal, where do you want to start, progressive measurement, how do you measure it, and then we have number 3 is stakeholders.
Yeah.
Next is the familiar step is agile interactions. So now you know what you want to do, why you want to do it, who is going to get involved. You define the interactions, right? And I really like what you set up for us, which is to reuse the meeting. It sounds simple at first, but people really love it because every time they already have tons of meetings already.
Usually not the lack of meetings.
Usually not the lack of meeting, but then we emphasize it with the exercise, right? It's similar to what you did, like list all the meeting and categorize them on. There's like 4 main types of meetings, right? Like quick loop, quick sync, right? How you like stand-up meeting, what you want to do, how you're going to do it, and review and improve, right?
Yeah.
So they understand, this is the nature of most meeting. How do we pack it? And maybe they can reuse some meeting already there, just add some agenda, remove something, pull these people together, and they can see that this is not adding more work. It's kind of like adjusting the way you work, right? So that they come up with the agile interaction. Right? That's number 4. Number 5 is we call it focusing policies. Now, we need to create focus, but a lot of time, because it's a big change, you need to make it explicit. So we choose the word policy. So what kind of policy that you would introduce to create a focus, right? Well, it's the similar as there's a few ways you can do whip limit, doing time boxing, right? Sequencing, and all the nice thing that we teach in class. But we learn that even as a Kanban practitioner, teacher, we know whip limit is like very good. It's
holy grail.
It's a scientifically proof. There's a mathematical proof, right? And then, but we call it's a secret of the universe. You're not supposed to know. It's kind of like, even because personally, I think the word limit has an impact, psychological impact on people. Right? This is not my experience, but my partner experience. Come on, he went to this another customer. Right? They already have 5 level 2 board. It's a medical equipment company, non-IT, and the board is really nice. It's been working, but then he introduced the whip limit with them. Like it's a kind of portfolio board, a lot of projects that on there, like the whole company project is in there, and the limit there was like, I think 10 at the beginning. Things kind of flow, but then he got question from all the salespeople from all over the country. They flew in to one of the meeting and they're asking, why can't we start my project? I already got the order from the customer. Why is it waiting there, right? And he could not like bear the resistance, the request, right? So okay, let's open it up. From 10 to like no limit. Let's put it in. What do you have, right? And then I think like he said there were like 40 projects, like pour into the board, right? What happened was, it took that company 9 months to finish all those projects that came in. So it's a hard lesson, but I think that it's good, right? But it's quite hard to implement in practical, unless everyone do the shipbuilding exercise with you.
But
or
even
something.
then, maybe then you understand why it makes sense, but you still need to do it. And I guess it's the biggest lever we have, but the most difficult one.
The trick, I think, we confirm what you said the other day, that you introduce some pattern in class that introduce whip limit without saying it's the limit. So kind of like, use some physical element like the area of the visualization, or somehow the visualize will make you uncomfortable that you put a bit more card in it. So it's kind of like trigger you that, oh, it seemed to be a lot, maybe you should wait a little bit. And it happened every time when we play Twix. At the beginning, if you like acts like a PO, you put the request in, right? It just keep putting in because I want to supposed to be a business, right? I have a lot of demand, but then you see that it doesn't really flow because the visualizations show you that it's useless. That no matter how many you put it in, it's still gonna stuck there. So you better do something else. So kind of like the visualization help a bit.
Makes sense.
But we ask the participant to, limit is, you focus is good, you need to create one, but what would be a good policy for your system, right? Your work system, to create a limit there.
Limit. So I just wrote the other day a small article on LinkedIn about limiting. So we consciously actually choose create focus as one of the activities in flight levels, because limit always sounds like we are not working on your stuff. That's not necessarily true, right? And yeah, as I said, there are multiple ways of actually creating focus. And by not saying limit your whip, this also opened up new possibilities, because currently, because now we see that time could be a way of creating focus, as you already said, or sequencing work and all these kind of things. So yeah, and you're also talking about focus, actually. So what was the point again?
Well, just say that. Well, this section is number 5 is creating policies, right? Just to emphasize that you need a policy because it's a big change to create focus.
Yeah, and I also like this because I mean, whatever we do when we create focus, we actually build a policy. So it's, I mean, of course, maybe you see some visual artifact on the board, but still it's about the policy behind it, right? So yeah, good one. Okay, what else do you have?
And notice that at this point, how many? Like 5 steps already. We don't even talk about the board yet. Right?
Yeah.
And well, I'm not as probably not the the original instructor like Klaus, that he is teaching this for like 10 years, right? So we always struggling in our class that previously we spent so much time on building the board, and we have so little time in talking about all this,
the other things,
things, right? So the original idea, we want to rebalance it a little bit, that want to make sure that they understand that the work system have all these factors that they need to think all together, not just the visualization. So we intentionally try to kind of reverse the order, have them think about it without the board yet, because people tend, when they see the board, they tend to jump in because it's easy for them to understand, and it's physical, right?
Yeah.
So we kind of like have them think about all these factors, but now it's the time to design the board, right? With all this improvement goal, with all this measurement, the stakeholder interaction policy. It's like a spec, if you may. This is a specification.
Yeah.
But now you build a visualization to answer this, right?
But that's the last step.
That's the last step.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't have much time, and so in this limited time, we choose to do it to the learning by inspiration. So we show them a few examples of the real board, and we pick the one that kind of like have different features, at least, and should relate to what their workflow is, right? And what turned out to is quite, I think, pretty good result. It is amazed us that they come up with a pretty decent board in the limited amount of time, but still keep all the factors in this compact canvas, right? So the last step is visualization, but last but not least, because the actual last step, the step 7, is operate and improve.
Okay.
We don't put that on canvas yet. We're thinking about explicitly put it somehow, but it's very important to understand that it's not the end, right? When you got the board, it's just a starting point.
Then
you need to operate and improve it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So this was actually the final step. So can you just wrap it up? So what are the 7 steps, and how does this canvas actually look like? So
sure.
What a coincidence.
What a coincidence, right? So this is a PDF version in an iPad, right? But in class we use the physical paper. So let me tell you this. It's actually, it surprised us on what's the impact, because when we do like a checkout at the end of the class, like half the feedback, they like the canvas. Right. They well, previously it used to be like, oh, I like Twig games, and I like the shipbuilding exercise, right? But now they like the canvas.
It's a physical takeaway, actually. So.
And there was in FLCL Jose class the other day, there was my student, they brought the canvas to the class. So like they're carrying it with them, they're working on it actually. So I think the fact that we put all this step compact together, it gives them a frame. People use that, but it's a frame for them to help them think what's the necessary component is to come up with a work system.
Yeah.
Right. So to summarize, in our canvas, we start with the number one is improvement goal. What is the goal you want? What is the improvement you want to make? Mostly it related to your pain point, right? And the second one is progressive measurement. How would you measure if you achieve that goal, yet how far from the goal? And the third one, we actually put it down here, the stakeholders, right? Who do you need to build the system with, right? And once you have this, then you can decide your agile interaction. How would you reuse your current meeting so that you add this agenda to make the interaction work? And then the number 4 is focusing policies. What kind of policy you're gonna come out so that you create focus in your system? And with that, the visualization. We keep the visual. They keep the best for last, right? Kind of list all these factors, and then you design the visualization that answer all this, and then operate and improve is the last step.
Perfect. Cool. Thank you so much for this, Kulawat. I think this would be a good topic to talk about at the Flight Levels Future Lab. So I think it's really it's definitely something where the entire community can benefit from it. So it's really great. And I want to highlight one thing here. So Kulawat is one of the flight level guides of Flight Levels Academy, actually. And so what you do is you teach flight level 2 design completely different. Yeah. But the thing is, that is okay. So just like from a meter level, from a Flight Levels Academy perspective, the bar is actually quite high to become a flight levels guide, because we want to get people into our community kind of who really understand what they do. And then it doesn't make any sense that we tell them these are the slides you have to preach. So the thing is, where real innovation happens is something like this, what you did. You just try something because you think it makes sense, and then you feed it back into the community, and everybody can learn from it. Yeah. So thank you so much for doing it, actually. Yeah. If we look at the time, Kulawat.
Sure.
My time in Thailand here is almost over.
Oh.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Well, you'll be back, right?
I will be back for sure.
Sure.
That is for sure. And I hope that we see us in Vienna quite soon for the Flight Levels Future Lab. Yes, all right. Cool. Well, if you want to get in touch with Kulawat, we will, of course, link his details and everything, contact details in the show notes. And yeah, I think that's it for today.
Thank you.
ขอบคุณครับ
ขอบคุณครับ
พี่ป้อม
ขอบคุณครับ พี่ Klaus.
And that's it.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Flight Levels podcast. Subscribe now to be updated for the next episode. Did this podcast remind you of anybody? Share the link with that person that you think should also join the Flight Club. And join our free community to have access to a lot of free content, as well as direct contact with all the coaches and members. Visit our web to create your account and more information. Go to flightlevels.io.